At this point, we all know that we can create mosaic models in a matter of minutes with the help of AI. Isn't that great? Well, it is, but not always. Sometimes we have specific rules in the organization that maybe AI does not understand. So the process of creating relationships or giving names to the objects can be great, but sometimes we may need to improve that. So the real question here isn't if AI can build your model. The question is, how much control should I give to AI when building my model? In today's video, I'll show you the right balance between automation and governance and why the most successful organizations are not replacing modelers with AI. They are actually deciding whether AI can help and whether humans should stay in control. So let's go right into it. All right, so as you all know, the process for creating a mosaic model starts when you add tables to the model. At that moment, when you add the tables, what happens is if you hit the proceed button, AI will start to autonomously generate the model for you. But recently, Strategy introduced these AI settings options. And what you can do in here is basically you can say, instead of AI doing the whole thing for you, you now have granular control over these functions. For example, you may say, no, I don't need AI to be generating preparation suggestions for me because my data is already cleansed. So I don't need any cleansing recommendations. Another nice cool thing here is this generate business-friendly names option. As you can see, it's enabled. AI will take care of it for you. But instead of AI generating that for me, I want to customize some naming instructions the way I'm doing right now. So look at the following instructions that I gave here to my model. Attributes named customer should become client because that's the way I call it in my company or in my department. The ones called store, I'll be naming them branch. And finally, the ones named country will be named territory. So these are instructions that the human, me in this case, are providing to the LLM in this case. All right, I'll go ahead and click done here, and let me show you a few more options. The next one is automatically merge matching columns into one attribute. As you can see, once you hover the mouse over the info tip or the pop-up here, it shows you what this is actually doing. You may decide to leave this on or off, enable or disable. As of now, I'll leave it this way. Same thing with attribute relationships. You hover the mouse over, it explains what's going on here. You can turn it on, turn it off. All right, I'll make sure to turn this on. And finally, let's say I don't want multiform attributes in my model. You know what an attribute, multiform attribute is in strategy, right? It's that concept of like, if you have product ID and product name, it will become one single attribute named product that contains two forms, ID and name. All right, so I'll leave this one this way. I'm basically specifying my own rules here for the AI. And later, if I want, I can import this or export an existing one, or actually export this one and later import if I want. So those are the way or the options we have available now to make humans control some of the behavior that will happen once we hit the proceed button. I'm going to close this one by closing this one. We're basically saving those options the way they are. And let me go ahead and click proceed. So now the building your mosaic model process actually starts, and it will consider the options that I provided. So no more customer attributes. It will become client, as you can see already in here. No more country attribute. It will become territory, and then store will become branch. And as you can see, I have like individual attributes. I don't have attribute forms right now. I have branch key and I have branch name. I have client key and I have client name. In theory, those should be a single attribute called client. But as I mentioned, I choose not to create a multiform attribute in this example. I did that on purpose because I want to show it how to redo that later. All right, so look, client key, client name. That is the name that I want. No customer anymore. Territory instead of a country. Branch key, branch name. So these are the rules that me as a human, I have defined. Now, let's say I made it wrong and, oh, you know what? Actually, I want attribute form. So should I recreate the model, go ahead and go back to sources, do all that stuff? No, I don't. I can just easily go here and click settings once again, and I'll turn on the auto create multiform attributes, save it by closing this window. And what happens now is that I need to click this brand new button right here called Rebuild Model. So once I click here, I get this warning telling me, hey, be cautious because maybe that model is already being used by dashboards or Power BI reports. So if you change the model, the corresponding objects that are depending on it or that are using it, those will be affected, and you can have a little issues in here. So it's important that we know what we are doing, right? In this case, this is a brand new model. I'm just building it now. I know that there is no dashboards, no Power BI reports using it. So I'll go ahead and click rebuild model, and let's see what happens. You notice here, it triggers the building your Mosaic model process again. And this time what I'm expecting is that branch key, branch name, they will become one single branch attribute. The same thing with client key and client name. Let's just wait a few seconds for this to complete. And once that ends, you will see the final result. There we go. We can find something already, right? You see here, client. I can expand this, and now it's a multiform attribute. Client key, client name are part of client. Same thing with branch. It's made of branch key and branch name. All right. So with this, I wanted to show you that it's very important that AI do the whole modeling process. It's very fast. It gives us a lot of flexibility when it comes to creating our attributes and metrics automatically. But now we have this quite interesting and important option that gives humans the ability to actually go ahead and specify some rules. That's what we want with this new functionality available here in Mosaic. All right, so let's finalize with this question. How much should I trust AI to build my models? Well, the answer is simple. Choose AI to accelerate the work, but keep humans in the loop because governance is important, right? We need to define the proper rules. The best models are not the ones entirely built by humans, and they are neither the ones entirely built by AI. They are actually built through collaboration. In other words, let AI do the repetitive tasks, do all the relationships in case you need them, improve naming and all that, but in the end, keep humans responsible for business context, governance, and final decisions. That's where the real value comes from. I'm curious to hear your perspective. What do you think? Should we trust AI with the whole thing, or should we have humans controlling some of the rules? So that was mainly it for this one. I hope you guys like this content. Feel free to share, to subscribe, and I'm always looking forward to seeing you all at the next corner.